At the start of Year 9, my students study World War II with a focus on the British home front. Now, what better way to commemorate this than a visit to Thetford and to the Dad's Army Museum?
Please, Mr. Manring, if you don't do as he says, he'll pull the string.
Oh, no, he won't. Oh, yes, I will.
He says he will, Mr. Manring.
Dad's Army is one of my favourite television shows, and it covers many aspects of the British home front during World War II, especially the Home Guard. The British Home Guard was officially formed on May 14, 1940. It was initially established as the Local Defence Volunteers, the LDV, following a national radio broadcast by Secretary of State for War Anthony Eden. The force was officially renamed the Home Guard on July 23, 1940. The men were issued with a uniform with an armband with the letters LDV. Members of the public were asked to donate rifles, pistols or shotguns that they might have to provide the Home Guard with weapons. Those that were not provided with weapons made makeshift weapons from pieces of pipe or knives or even broomsticks.
What's that supposed to be, boy?
Well, you said if you had nothing else, we'll tie a carving knife to a broom handle.
I didn't say keep the brush on the end of it, you stupid boy.
Well, you should have said.
I don't want any insubordination.
Slow! Hey! Freeze it! Hey!
Most of the men had full-time jobs and only trained in the evenings. As well as preparing themselves to be ready to fight off a German invasion, the Home Guard also guarded buildings that had been bombed to prevent looting, helped to clear bomb damage, helped to rescue those trapped after an air raid, guarded factories and airfields, captured German airmen that had been shot down, and set up roadblocks to check people's identity cards.
Who do you think you are? We're the Local Defence Volunteers, and I'm their appointed commander, Captain Manring. And I must ask you to keep your hands off my privates.
Now, another way that the British put up a home front to defend themselves from the bombings was to build air raid shelters. Many people built Anderson shelters in their gardens so that they had protection if they were unable to get to the public shelter. An Anderson shelter cost £7 during World War II. However, they were provided completely free of charge to working class families who earned less than £250 a year. That would be equivalent to about £5 a week. They could be prone to flooding as they were often built in low-lying areas. Sleeping was difficult as they did not keep out the sound of the bombs, and the majority of people living in the industrial areas did not have gardens where they could build their shelters. And of course there were indoor shelters as well. The Morrison shelter was an indoor steel table shelter assembled from a kit of parts and bolted together inside the house. The steel top doubled as a table, and there were wire mesh panels around the four sides with an entry door through one of its panels. There was, however, a fire risk using this shelter. There were also shelters at many offices and factories, and also at schools or in coal mines. Schools had shelters that were brick built with reinforced concrete roofs. Each shelter was partially below ground. Inside the shelters there were rows of seats along each side, and two classes of children could be seated in each. So another line of defence that the British home front put up during the air raids was to go into blackouts. So this meant that no light should be seen from above when the German Luftwaffe flew over Britain. This made it difficult for them to identify the towns and the cities and where to drop the bombs. So they needed people to volunteer to ensure that everyone was pulling together and not let any light show. The government would have to call on volunteers to be air raid patrol wardens. Their job would be to make sure no light was visible in an air raid.
Put that light out! Put that light out!
There were also preparations in case the Germans landed too. Signposts were taken down and names were removed from railway stations. People were warned to look out for German spies. And of course another worry for the British government was food supplies. In January 1940, rationing was introduced to Britain to prevent starvation if there were food shortages and to ensure that food was distributed evenly. Everyone, men, women and children, had a ration book. People had to register with one shop to get their food. Shops only had enough food for the people on their list. When you bought food, your ration book was stamped or marked. At first, it was just butter, sugar and bacon that was rationed. Then later, meat, eggs, cheese, jam, tea and milk.
Give us an egg then. Go. All right, then.
Stop or I fire!
Vegetables were not rationed, but were often hard to find. Only British-grown fruit like apples and strawberries were available. Imported fruit like bananas and oranges were not available. People used dried egg powder instead of fresh eggs. Now, the contribution of women to the home front was very important, and the dangerous jobs that some of them did has been largely overlooked until recently. Many of them that worked in the munitions factories would have handled explosives, TNT and toxic chemicals, which discoloured their skin, hence the name the Canary Girls. So from 1941, women were officially called up to help with the war effort. Their jobs included being mechanics and engineers, working in munitions factories, air raid wardens, bus and fire engine drivers. Over 640,000 women joined the armed forces. They served in groups such as Women's Royal Navy Services, Women's Auxiliary Air Forces and the Auxiliary Territorial Service. Other roles included flying aircraft, driving ambulances and nursing. Princess Elizabeth, later to become Queen Elizabeth II, served as a mechanic and military truck driver in the Auxiliary Territorial Service. She joined in 1944 at the age of 18, becoming the first female member of the royal family to serve in the armed forces. So my students in an assessment or even in an end of year exam could get a question where they need to analyse each part of the British home front during World War II and maybe choose which one they think is the most effective using their evaluation skills. Now, another question that could come up could be about this idea of a blitz spirit. So the solidarity, resilience and the self-sacrifice that was made by people in World War II. Now, undeniably, that definitely took place. But some historians do debate whether there was this collective blitz spirit across Britain or whether it was largely a myth. Now, what I like about Dad's Army is that there most definitely is a presence of the blitz spirit. However, there's also characters like Private Walker, which kind of goes against that idea. Private Walker being a character who appears to be looking to make money and really just looking out for himself. The character of Private Joe Walker challenges the idea that there was a blitz spirit. Rather than being self-sacrificing for the war effort, he prioritises making money from the black market. He is considered a lovable rogue and often shows other characters to be hypocrites. For example, Captain Mannering would strongly disapprove of Walker's illicit dealings, but on occasions would quietly purchase some of his under-the-counter goods, usually as an attempt to keep his wife happy. The character of Private Walker is funny, but he represents the idea of profit over patriotism, which was a controversial idea during World War II. But of course, in Dad's Army, there's also lots of examples of where there is that kind of blitz spirit and resilience and self-sacrifice, and people really looking out for each other.
I know one thing, they're not walking straight through me.
Not me. I'll be beside you, Jonesy.
We'll all be beside you, Jonesy. We'll stick together, you can rely on that. Anybody who tries to take our homes or our freedom away from us, they'll find out what we can do. We'll fight.
And we're not alone. There are thousands of us all over England.
And Scotland.
And Scotland. All over Great Britain, in fact. Men who'll stand together when their country needs them.
Excuse me, sir, don't you think it might be a nice idea if we were to pay our tribute to them?
For once, Wilson, I agree with you. To Britain's Home Guard.
The Britain's Home Guard.
Dad's Army isn't the only television show that will support this idea that there was a Blitz spirit. In Only Fools and Horses, there's Uncle Albert's rather touching recollection of the Blitz in London.
During the Blitz, some of the men painted a sign on the roof of a warehouse so that the Luftwaffe pilots could see it. It said, "Dear Adolf, you can break our windows, but not our hearts."
I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been of some help. If so, please leave a kind comment, give it a like, subscribe. I love making videos that do help students and that enables me to get to some of these filming locations. So therefore, I hope to make another one for you soon.